Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Iyolu Ajayi and I film about faith, lifestyle, relationships, career, and other good stuff. And yeah, lately about school and Chevening. Thank you guys so much for all the love and the support and all the good wishes. Thank you guys so much. Like so much. I do not take it for granted at all. So like I said on last video, this is like the beginning of beginning. God help me. This is like the beginning of a new series on the channel, and like Wednesday, today is you're going to be watching this video on Saturday. The video you watched on Wednesday was like an introduction to what would be doing on the channel for like the next 2 months thereabouts. So yes, today, as you already know from title of this video, sorry if I'm looking down, I have my tab here and that's why I kept notes. So today I'm going to be telling you everything you know about Chevening. I feel like that's like a lot, like telling somebody you're going to be telling them everything they need to know about Chevening. But I feel like, yes, everything you need to know, preliminary stuff and frequently asked questions. So since I announced I got a Chevening Scholarship, a number of people have asked me some questions. Some of them are even my friends that have applied before, that are applying next year, I just feel like putting everything together in one video will be helpful. So let me not even digress. Let's get right into it. So I'll be answering a few questions, not only questions that I got, but questions that I've just seen people ask over the past few weeks, and questions that I also asked myself while I was applying for the scholarship. So like I said, I'll be looking down here because here is where I have my notes. So the first question is, what is Chevening? So I feel like I joined a Twitter space I think 2 weeks ago where somebody actually asked that, oh, is me hearing about Chevening. So you people are going to be hearing different pronunciations of this Chevening. Some people say Chevening, but I feel like it's Chevening. So that's why I call it Chevening. So he said, what is Chevening? So I'm going to be answering that question on this video. And okay, so what is Chevening? Chevening is a UK government scholarship funded by the UK government through the FCDO, that's the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office. I hope that is the full meaning of that abbreviation. If not, my scholarship should be hanging by a thread. The FCDO office and partner institutions, which sometimes include these universities that you'll be applying to. So they fund people, obviously, and in Nigeria I know it ranges between like 38 to like 52 yearly, and it goes around like that around all the countries that are eligible to apply for Chevening. So that's what the Chevening Scholarship is. And then people also ask, what does it cover? It covers everything. I don't know how else to say it, but it literally covers everything. Think about it. Everything you need. Your tuition, your living, they're going to be giving you living what they call this is stipend. Is this stipend or stipend? Living expenses every month, from which you pay for your accommodation and which you feed yourself, obviously. They'll give you arrival allowance. They'll give you exit allowance. The Chevening Scholarship requires that you go back to your home country after your program. So they will be giving even that return ticket that will bring you back to your home country. They'll be funding it. Like I said, living expenses, sometimes travel expenses. If you have to travel for like a Chevening event, something like that, they'll fund it. You don't pay visa fees when you're applying. You don't pay IHS, that's health surcharge. Your tuberculosis test, you pay by yourself, but you get refunded. So pretty much that's what I mean when I say Chevening covers everything. So they're paying you to go to school. And you wonder, why are they doing this? They're doing this because they see you as a potential leader, somebody that can be useful in your own country and also useful to advance the interest of the United Kingdom. And pretty much they just see you as somebody that is worthy of investment, because it's actually a lot of money. Imagine that whole investment in one person. It's like a gamble, so to say. But here is an investment. So that's the Chevening Scholarship. How do I know if I qualify? Guys, I feel like if you want to apply for Chevening, you need to like comb the Chevening website. Many questions that people ask, their questions have already been answered. Some of these answers, they are answers that I picked up off the website by myself, aside the fact that, oh, maybe some of them are from my experience. But really, if you want to know if you qualify, just go to the Chevening website, chevening.org.org, and there you find everything. Some of these questions have answers there. So you should be a citizen of a Chevening eligible country. You should have completed your undergraduate degree usually with 2-1, that's a second class or par or higher. But there's also been a history of like people finishing with 2-2. I don't know about third class, but maybe. But at least I know a couple of people that finished with 2-2 and got the Chevening Scholarship. So do not be discouraged. If you finish with an HND, you can also apply, and you should have worked for at least 2 years post your degree. So let me break this down a little bit. You should, so they require that you have like 2,800 hours of work, and typically you're likely not to get that if you have not worked for 2 years. And yes, you can put in internships. Yes, you can put in pretty much internships, but they have to be internships that are not part of your course. So for instance, I know that many people that are doing education, they do teaching practice. Teaching practice is part of your, like, it's part of your requirement, so to say, for you to even get that degree. So it doesn't qualify as work experience. So anything that forms a part of your academic degree does not qualify as work experience. But if you did anything extra, so like maybe during break you went for internships, you did this and that, those qualify as work experience. And really, while they say it qualifies, I would not advise that the only thing you should be applying with is internship. So people have been on ASU strike for like 6-7 months now. You can imagine being in your final year, and then throughout this ASU strike, you have been doing internships and internships and internships. You now graduate, and then you go and apply for the Chevening Scholarship because you feel like you have done a lot of internships that can cover that. It is likely to count against you because you have not, like, internships. The best internships can be an internship. The best you can be as an intern is an intern. You're not a full staff. So there are some things that you still not be exposed to. So my point is that your entire work experience should not be circled around internships if you're applying for the Chevening Scholarship. So what else? You should have applied to 3 universities and secured an unconditional offer from at least one UK university before July 13, 2023. So if you're applying in this application cycle, it's not sufficient that you apply to only Chevening. So some people say, oh, once I apply to Chevening, all the schools will work with Chevening to give me admission. No, securing admission is something that you have to do by yourself, external, away from Chevening. So don't apply for Chevening and fold your arms. You have to do your university applications. So those are the few things about qualification. Another question here is, if I've had a master's done before, can I apply? Yes, you can apply. You can apply for Chevening. If you've done a master's, you can apply to, what am I saying? You can apply for Chevening to do a second master's. That's the point. And the best way to do it, how to like know. So people then ask, do I put in my application that I already have a master's? Would it count against me? Not exactly. So I was on a Twitter space where a 2017 Chevening scholar gave like the perfect answer to this question. So credit to him, Maiwa Tijani. So the perfect answer to this question is that you should be able to tell if that master's adds to your story. So for instance, I'm going to like pretty much regurgitate what he said. For instance, if you did your master's in, say, maybe a university in Nigeria, and your course is something that is heavily practical, and while you were doing that master's, you did not get the opportunity to practice at all. So it was pretty much going to class. So you may decide that you want to do another master's where you can have hands-on experience, and you have seen a school in the UK where you can do that, where you can get that done. So that's a way to tell your story, because ordinarily, if you have had a master's, there should not be a reason to want a second master's. But if you can push for it, if you can defend it in your essays, why not? They're not going to disqualify you because you've had a master's done. But if you feel like your master's does not form a part of your story, then you may decide to not put it, just put your undergraduate degree. So does internship count as work experience? I think I've answered that. Yes, if it's not part of your studies. Can I apply if I finish with a 2-2? Yes. Again, tell your story. Again, to the 2017 Chevening alumnus. These things confuse me. That I mentioned earlier, he finished with a 2-2 in university, and he studied a course totally unrelated to what he studied as a Chevening scholar in the UK. So he studied food technology in undergraduate, had a 2-2, moved to journalism immediately after, and on that degree was able to go to the UK to get a master's, and he then got a distinction. So the fact that I finished with a 2-2, tell your story. You don't need to explain that, oh, I was very unserious in school, that's why I finished with a 2-2. No, you don't even need to like refer to it. Just show in your essays that this is somebody that knows what they're doing, that should not be defined by the grade that you finished with, and you'll be good. So the next question is, do I have to have volunteer experience to be considered? This was a major fear for me. So I studied law, as most of you already know, and I didn't do a lot of volunteering. And not because I didn't want to do, just because maybe I was a lot busy in school. Yes, I did extracurricular activities. I was in organizations and stuff, but I didn't like volunteer like that. So, and I know that Chevening is, I mean, my perception before I got Chevening was that it's only all these people that are doing NGO, that are doing girl child, something that Chevening wants to fund, but that's not entirely true. While it may help your application if you have had volunteer experience, you don't necessarily have to have mainstream volunteer experience. And the truth is that, I mean, what I wrote here is that volunteering is very wide. If maybe you're doing something related to children, maybe you want to study a course related to child education, and while you were growing up, you were the firstborn, you're in a family of 7, or you used to babysit for everybody in your neighborhood, that's volunteering. Yes. So you just need to be able to tell your story. People call these things packaging. It's not telling lies. You're just like packaging yourself. That's the best way to say it. So you need to be able to tell your story to reflect. I tell people that when you're applying for, I just got this Chevening that I'm saying I tell people. So the thing is, when I think about Chevening, I feel like a lot of thoughts should go into your application. You think, because there are things that you feel like don't qualify as leadership, as volunteering, that will actually qualify. So the best way to like I will address this thing in like the next couple of videos when I'm talking about writing your essays, but think well, you actually have volunteer experience. I don't think there's anybody that has not done anything for lunch really without getting paid before. So yes. Do I need IELTS? This one question that I've also gotten personally. No, you do not need IELTS to apply for Chevening. But if your universities require it, like I already told you that the Chevening application on this way, university application on this way. So if your universities require IELTS, you have to write it. And generally, I was still telling somebody 2 days ago that just write this IELTS. Actually not that difficult, except that it's maybe a little pricey. But I feel like it widens your chances. There are a lot of universities that require, some don't. But if you can afford it, just write it. Write it, let it be there. If you don't need it for school, you need it for visa. If you don't need it for visa, you don't need it for Chevening, but if you can and you can afford it, I think you should write it. And yes, I have some resources on this channel as well on IELTS. I want to travel with my spouse and kids. Does Chevening cover that? No. You're allowed to travel with your spouse. You're allowed to travel with your kids, but Chevening only covers you. So you have to cover their own cost. I won't say too much story on that. That's what it is. But ensure that you know that, well, if your spouse goes with you, they are allowed to work, because you as a Chevening scholar, I mean, you as on a student visa, there's a limit to how much work you can do. And even as a Chevening scholar, there's a limit to how much work you can do. So your spouse can work fully as a dependent, but you need to be sure that you can afford it. Next question. Who should my referees be? Who should my referees be? So for those that don't know, you would be required to like submit 2 reference letters. So, and the question is, who should they be? I would want to say that it's more about what these people can say than about who they are. Let me repeat it. It's more about what they can say than about who they are. When I was applying for Chevening, one of the people that like helped me through my application told me that there was somebody that he knew that got maybe a minister to like write their reference, and the person still did not get it. A minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a minister. So it's not really, you really don't need to be on the lookout for the high and mighty. If I can get Buhari to write me a reference, if I can get Goodluck Jonathan to write. No, it needs to be very personal, because these people are people that will speak to your abilities, that will speak to your track record, that will tell Chevening that yes, this person is worthy of the investment of the UK government. So you really need to be sure that these people know you. Next, what is the timeline like? See, this timeline is what almost killed me. Not kill me in Jesus' name, but there's a lot of wait period, guys. See, Chevening taught me patience. The patience I know that I had, I didn't even have a choice. I was not going to go to the UK to go and force out my result anyway. So you apply. I know the applications are open now till November, so you have till now, from now till November, to apply. When you apply, there's a wait period of like 2 months where you will not hear anything. They are doing shortlisting, they are checking everybody, they're checking. So from like that November to like February, you won't hear anything. February, okay, some people start getting rejection. I know the year I got rejection, I got it January, I think 15th of last year. Was it last year? Yes, of last year. So, but once you are able to scale through that November to January to early February period, you can start preparing for interviews, because it kind of sends a message that yes, you're likely going to get an invite. I think I got my invite for interview on February 20 something. I can't remember now. The dates are very fuzzy. So you get interview invites from like mid-February towards end February. Interviews commence from like March. So I did my interview a day to my birthday. I did my interview on April 12th, the afternoon of April 12th. See, guys, the wait after that interview is the major wait. There's no wait like it. Like, see, anxiety nearly offed me. Off. All the people that are close to me, they knew it. I was always talking about it, God. And I'm like, can Chevening say something? Can they like say something? Zero. They're not going to say anything because it's not, the results are not out. There's nothing you want them to say. So it's like a very long wait. And then imagine February to June, something that is this big, that is this defining, that can define whether you are going to the UK or not. So I think I got my feedback in late June. Was it even late June? Yes, very late June, 20 something, maybe like 28 or thereabouts. So that's like what the timeline is like. And once that happens, everything else is fast. You get that, they send you a award letter, you apply for visa, you get your cars, all these things is like unnecessary info. Can I apply to Chevening with a deferred university offer? Yes. So imagine that you got university admission this year, but you didn't get scholarship. You can defer the admission and use that same admission to apply to Chevening in the following year. So yes, excuse me. Does Chevening cover any course and any uni? Yes, it covers any course. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about Chevening, because many of these other scholarships, they are like heavy on science, on medical sciences, on biological sciences and everything. So, but Chevening covers a lot. So Chevening is almost like Commonwealth as well, where it's like there's wide coverage. And for universities, I think it actually covers most of the universities in the UK, but please confirm from the website. I know there are Chevening partner universities as well, so you may want to look out for that. What would I need to submit to be considered? I got this question personally. So you would be writing, you fill the form, is not very lengthy, but you have to be careful, guys. Like when you're filling Chevening, don't rush, don't aim to submit early. No be person way for submit now they get scholarship. This is my application that got me Chevening. I submitted before I actually wanted to submit. I had not finished going through everything, and I wanted to like click preview. I thought I wanted to click preview to like check everything I feel to be sure. So I didn't even get a chance to cross-check my application. Instead of clicking preview, I clicked submit. Thank God I had uploaded all my essays. That would have been it. So instead of clicking preview, I clicked submit, and that was it. So you need to like open your eyes. Don't fill the form when you're dizzy, when you're drunk, when you're whatever. Open your eyes and feel the essays when you're like at your most active. Do you get? And give yourself time. So ensure that it's very tricky. On the foot of every page, you will see submit, submit, submit. So don't click on submit. Always click on save, save, save. Don't click on submit until you're ready. What was I saying before I started talking about that? So what do I need to submit? 4 essays. You're going to write 4 essays, and subsequently I'm going to like treat each of these essays and what like full videos on each of these essays. I'm going to even read some part of my own essays to you. So 4 essays: leadership, networking, study in the UK, and career plans. You're going to need your certificate or your transcript, and then you fill the form. So that's what you need. I've been rejected once. Can I use the same essays? Yes and no. I was rejected last year. I only revamped my, see this thing, that's why I keep telling some people, when is your time, is your time. When God wants it to be you, it will be you. Yes, put in the work, but there is the God factor that cannot be separated from the whole application. I used almost the same essays that didn't get me in 2021, and they got me in this year. So I did a little bit of revamping. Sorry, I did a little bit of revamping, which I would explain when I start talking about each of these essays. So yes, you can use the same essays. No, you cannot use the same essays. You have to revamp a little bit. What should I consider before choosing a course and a uni? Okay, I'm actually tired. What should I consider before choosing a course and a uni? This, like, I have like one more question after this one. What should you consider? Identify a problem. I tell everybody, I think that was one thing I didn't do with my first application. Ensure that you're not just saying you want to go and do a course. What problem do you want to solve? And this is why it actually makes sense that Chevening is saying you should have worked for 2 years. If you have worked for 2 years, you would identify something in your field that is always annoying you. What is this? How can we solve this problem? So identify a problem and tie it to like your current employment. Look for courses that have course content that can help you solve that problem. That is it. Like, Eureka. Once you get that, you have hit it. So ensure that your course is very strategic, solving a problem that is one of the interests of the United Kingdom. So there's what we call UK priority areas. You can Google it. You will see a lot of stuff that fall under the UK priority areas. And you also do not need to restrict yourself to this. Just let them see that you have a problem that you want to solve. You're not just going to the UK to blow the UK government's money or to like take fine pictures or to post new dispensation. You're going there to like learn to solve a problem. So that's like very, very important. So I have a few more questions, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't want this video to be too long because it's going to get tiring. So in closing, I was telling somebody 2 days ago that you need to convince yourself first. I know that I'm sounding like aspire to perspire, but it's just what it is. Convince you. My 2021 application was not convincing, even for me. I wanted to go to the UK, but I was not like very pressed about it. The rejection pained me. It pained me, like I said, I cried. But you need to convince yourself. Let that application make sense to you. Put yourself on the other side of the table. I am Chevening. Will I fund myself with what I have written? Will I fund this program if I had to be one of the decision makers? So you really want to convince yourself first. And like I said, it's more than wanting to go to the UK. Anybody can go to the UK. Well, if you have the money, but be ready to put in the work. And finally, God. See, you know, I was saying this thing earlier that my own application, like, some people say they did it, like it's not everybody that believes in God. I do, and I'm not quite about it. The God factor, I felt like God was just in on it this year. Like he was in on it. Because if anything, it's probably not this year I should have gotten Chevening. Like I said, I didn't preview my application. I submitted when I was not even sure that I'd filled all the forms because I wasn't ready to submit. I mistakenly clicked submit and it went. And that was the application that now got me the scholarship. So if you believe in God, you really want to also talk to him, ask him, is this the right time? Should I apply for Chevening? And he listens to you when you ask, and he also speaks back to you. So if God is in on it, it's going to get you that scholarship. So I feel like that's like pretty much all of the preliminaries that you need to know. So if you see that you qualify with everything I've spoken about and you're passionate about a problem in your field that you want to solve, you are a leader or a prospective leader, the Chevening Scholarship is one you should definitely you don't need to know anybody. It's like 100% transparent and it's just beautiful. I've not started my journey yet, but the much that I have seen now, I'm grateful to God that I'm having this opportunity. I'm grateful to all of the sponsors, to the UK government, everything. I'm grateful. So yes, this is my own version of everything you need to know about the Chevening Scholarship. And I should also put out a disclaimer that this is my content, is my, what do they call it? Is all mine. I'm not doing it in partnership with Chevening. Nothing I've said should be interpreted as official statement from Chevening. I mean, it's just what it is. It's me, it's my name, it's my face. So please, these are my words. Don't go and quote me anyway. But I mean, I know a little bit about it. So yes, thank you guys so much for coming to watch this video today. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Send to your friends that are applying for Chevening. Send to people that want to apply next year or in 2 years time. And yes, another video will be going up on Wednesday, and there I'll be talking about my rejection in 2021, acceptance in 2022, what I did differently. So if you have been rejected before and now you want to be accepted, that's a video you should definitely look out for. Thank you guys for watching my video today. And yes, I am tired. I've talked a lot. I hope that this video is not too long. Yes, enjoy your weekend.